right, at this time, we will call this meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Anson.
Here.
Trustee Doro.
Here.
Trustee Myers.
Here.
Trustee Walschlager.
Here.
Trustee Ledke.
Here.
Trustee Connor.
Here.
President Pfannerstill.
Here. If you don't. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't know if it picks up on the camera, but. We already have the porch lights. At this time, anybody that would like to speak in public comments, please step towards the podium. Seeing as that we don't have any public comments, we'll move to our next item of business. Our next item of business, unfortunately, we have two proclamations for people that served for long periods of time to the Village of Hartland. So the village is very thankful to those people, but we're going to read the proclamations for them. They'll just be picking them up at a later time, but they're not able to be here to accept them. The first one being for Faith Kandler. This proclamation is in recognition of 34 years of service to the Village of Hartland. Whereas finance employee Faith Kandler has loyally served the Village of Hartland residents for 34 years as deputy treasurer, having been hired on June 9th, 1986. Whereas Faith Kandler has provided excellence in customer service as she filled the role of deputy treasurer, preparing countless utility and tax bills, processing payroll, maintaining dog licenses, assisting in the preparation of the annual audit, and whereas Faith Kandler has demonstrated dedication to Hartland's residents by providing guidance and assistance to residents with respect to any utility or tax billing question. Whereas Faith Kandler has been an asset to our community, and while she will be missed, her retirement after 34 years of service is well deserved. Now therefore, the village board for the Village of Hartland hereby proclaims congratulations and thanks to Faith Kandler upon her retirement and encourages all residents to join in expressing their tremendous gratitude for her service. We ask that when anybody do see Faith, that they extend our appreciation for such a good job. Faith, if you're watching, which I'm guessing you're not, but if you are, you can come and pick your proclamation up from Darlene. The next proclamation we have is for Mike Gerszewski. This is in recognition of 33 years of service to the Village of Hartland. Whereas Mike Gerszewski accepted the position of general laborer for the Village of Hartland Department of Public Works on June 8th, 1987, with a starting wage of $10.66 an hour. Whereas Mike Gerszewski, for his excellent performance and dedication to the village, was promoted April 1st, 1991, to lead man for the Village of Hartland Department of Public Works. Whereas Mike Gerszewski, for his knowledge, skills, and abilities, was promoted December 16th, 2004, to Operations Supervisor for the Village of Hartland Department of Public Works. Whereas, during his time as Operations Supervisor, Mike Gerszewski participated and volunteered with numerous community organizations, scout troops, special events, Wisconsin chapter of the Public Works Association, and our local schools, honorably representing the Village of Hartland Department of Public Works. Whereas Mike Gerszewski has been an asset to our community and will be missed. His retirement after 33 years of service is well earned. Now therefore, the village board for the Village of Hartland hereby proclaims congratulations and thanks to Mike Gerszewski upon his retirement and encourages all residents to join in expressing our tremendous gratitude for his service. To both Mike and Faith, thank you for everything that you did in making Hartland as great as it is today. All right, our next order of business is consideration of a motion to approve village board minutes from the February 8th meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the February 8th meeting. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is consideration of a motion to approve the vouchers for payments. This is in the amount of $174,713.67.
I'll move to approve the vouchers for $174,713.67.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to move the vouchers, or to pay the vouchers. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is consideration of actions related to licenses and permits. We have operator bartender's license for Caitlin Poston. The applicant has successfully completed the responsible beverage service course. The chief of police has reviewed the application and approves it after deeming the request to be in compliance with Wisconsin statutes.
I make the motion we approve the bartender's license.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the bartender's license for Caitlin Poston. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. That will be granted. The next item on the agenda is consideration of a motion to adopt bill for an ordinance 125-2021 and an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the Village Code pertaining to regular meetings.
I'll make a motion to adopt bill for an ordinance 125-2021, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the Village Code pertaining to regular meetings.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt a bill for an ordinance 125-2021 and ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the Village Code pertaining to regular meetings. Obviously, this is the third reading of that item. It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Opposed.
I believe that's four opposed. Why don't we do a roll call?
Trustee Anson?
Aye.
Trustee Doro?
Nay.
Trustee Myers?
No.
Trustee Walshiger?
No.
Trustee Ledke?
Nay.
Trustee Connor?
Aye.
President Pfannerstill?
Aye. That motion fails 4-3, and the code will stay as it is currently written. The next item that we have on the agenda, second reading of a bill for an ordinance 8/8/2021, an ordinance amending 46-978 of the Village of Hartland Code of Ordinances regulating signs permitted in all districts without a sign permit. Again, that's just the second reading. No action has to be taken, but if someone did want to open discussion, any trustee has that right.
I just don't think we have any really footing to not follow the state and the federal law with regard to signage for politicians. And, the rest of it seems to be working okay, but I don't think we really should be the only one in the country that says they can't do that.
Thank you. Anybody else? I agree, Mike. I'm sorry, Trustee Myers, I agree. That it was the second reading. The next item we have is a discussion and consideration of a special events permit.
So following up the action from the last board meeting, there was some discussion about the different permits and applications we have. I'm going to use the word application and permit kind of together because somebody fills out an application in order to get a permit. So can't have one without the other, so to speak. So if I use the word application in one sentence and forget to use the word permit with it, please bear with me. So went back following the meeting, last board meeting, working with our village clerk, taking a look at different options. We thought best to create the special event permit, which is hopefully going to capture multiple permits that we have that are really for the same thing. In other words, if you're going to want us to close the street, or you're going to want to rent the entire park to have a band, right now you would need two different permits for that. And so I think the idea of the village is we want to We want to make it easy for people looking to do that. We want to make it easy for the village board or the park committee and then the village board to approve those actions. So we tried to put all those things all together into one permit. Now, the exception to that, one permit that we drafted, and it's just a draft, it's just to discuss. The two exceptions to the permitting process that we looked at is, one, we want to be very clear that the cabaret license is a license that is linked to bars and restaurants. That is just a bar restaurant item. It is for them to be able to have music at their facilities. The areas that they have approved to be able to serve can also be areas that they can have their music. So the cabaret license needs to stay. It's an item that's contingent really to just those special uses. Nope. In other words, if a business, I don't want to pick on any business, so I'm trying to find out, if a place that was a distributor of batteries wanted to have a live music, they would not have a cabaret, like they would not qualify for a cabaret. You have to have a beer, and you have to have a serving license in order to get it. So cabaret needs to stay, and it's its own thing. The other item that we'd like to keep, we'd like to get rid of the major street use permit, roll that into the special event, but we would like to keep the small street use permit, which is really just for block parties. It's a very small permit, very simple. It's handled at the staff level. Somebody comes in, they get the signatures of their neighbors, and then we close off a cul-de-sac or a section of road typically on a Saturday or a Sunday night for a couple hours. DPW puts out barricades, the police are made aware. It's a very low-key event. While some could get out of hand, they don't, and they're pretty simple. We'd like to keep that because that's a very simple, straightforward process, rarely used, but everything else we'd like to roll into this special event. And in order to do this special event, if this is the direction the board wants to take, we would have to make several code changes because these other permits and applications are all embedded in the village code. So before we go forward with all those code amendments, we wanted to see if the special event permit is going in the direction that the board would like. And that's kind of where we're at.
I think this makes a lot more sense. It makes it a lot cleaner for people to apply for it, and it's keeping it the same for everybody. So it's real simple, one special event for anybody that's going to apply for it. As I've discussed, I just think a few things need to be tweaked, and that would be in our ordinances and like you had talked about. But I do like the idea of just having the special event and the small event.
The special event, though, does not include the alcohol license, is that?
No.
Or the beer, right?
It would
That's separate.
it would wrap in, right.
It
It
would.
would trigger then Darlene letting people know that if you want to serve at your event, here are the rules. Here's what you can serve, here's what you cannot serve. So it would
So what-
encompass that, which now is a separate permit. You literally would have, if, for a certain event, you would have to get 4 different permits with us.
So selling beer and wine would go with that?
It could, you could apply. Through
Just
the
mark it
special
up,
event,
okay.
you could apply. It's not automatic. Some special events might not want to get into the beer and wine sales, others, it might
And
be,
you'd still need to have somebody, they'll sign up to be the licensed bartender.
Yeah.
absolutely,
Need all your
yeah.
permits. Right.
To help out, I think what Trustee Walschlager is asking about is, do they still need to get temporary beer or what?
Temporary.
And yes, they absolutely, you would never get the special events
Right.
permit without having to get that if you were going to serve alcohol.
Yeah. Well,
Correct.
Wisconsin,
No,
I
you'd
didn't know
have
if
to
it
get
just
the
came
special
automatic.
Right, right.
before you get that stuff.
Well, it would all be wrapped up
It'd be
into the
all done
special
at
event
once, so you
permit,
don't-
yeah.
The special events, once you have that, then you qualify to apply for the rest of it.
Correct.
And
And-
cleans it up a lot.
Yeah.
Streamlines
Yep.
it.
You made a comment on the block party, and this is just, I could ask you afterwards, but I know I'll forget. You said that DPW will go and set up the barricades if they need it. Is that free of charge? Because I know somebody's gonna ask me
I
that.
think it is. I think it is. I
So-
don't think we,
Our guys go out and then go out and pick them back up, and we don't have, they
Pick
don't,
them up the next morning.
oh, okay. So it'd be during work hours.
We do not charge for barricades during work hours.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, again, these are, we're talking very few, 2 or 3 a year block party is what we're, you know, these are not big, you know, this is not like a wait in line to get your block party permit on a
Well, you
Friday
never
at
know, it's
Village
coming
Hall,
up.
so.
And typically at DPW, if they put the barricades, if I'm not mistaken, normally they're just laid there the day or night before, and then we actually set
Right.
them up
Right.
when it's time for the closing.
They deliver, you're right, they deliver and drop off. They
Right,
don't
they
set
don't
up
set
and
up
and
and
take down.
manage. They just,
That's nice that we do that. I appreciate that.
Sounds good. So how long will it take you to update all those?
so if you have any comments, any feedback, we'll, Darlene and I are very open to taking any of that, and we'll tweak it, and then we'll bring it back to the board next meeting with some of the ordinance changes that'll need to be adjusted.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think it's a great direction, great.
Do you want a motion, or do you want to let it ride?
I
And just
think
have them-
that's exactly what we were looking for right there.
So you do not need a motion?
I do not, I think we're good.
Next item, we have discussion and consideration of a motion to approve an agreement with BSI Building Services, Inc., related to remodeling of the village boardroom. I believe they're here. The floor is yours.
Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Walgren, architect with BSI. I also have Justin Gelhausen, construction project manager, and Brett Heikela, account executive with BSI. Thank you for the opportunity to update you on the latest progress of the design for this boardroom. You have all the images that we submitted last week, and I think, Ben, are you able to get the floor plan up on the screen? Over the past few weeks and months, we've been continued working with Tim and Darlene on some revisions to the design. We have made some reductions, which you'll see reflected in the pricing, but overall, still tried to keep the original design intent, which is why we started this exercise. Most of the changes since our last presentation were to the perimeter walls in this room. We've omitted any new exterior and interior windows, so we're working with the perimeter walls largely as they are. This room is still being transformed, but largely just within the room itself. So on the floor plan, you can see the orientation of the 9-person seating area. The committee area is orientated to the north wall. On either side here, we have seating, flexible seating for the public. And we still have provisions for millwork and storage on the east wall. Ben, if you can jump one more slide. Pages 5 and 6 show the updated perspective views of the inside of this room. So I'm going to go wall by wall. The new north wall is really the focus of the room. We still have the 9-person seating area for the committee. The AV package is still unchanged from earlier presentations. We have provisions to mount the TVs or the displays on the north wall. We're showing the current 65-inch displays above the committee member. On either side, we have provisions for some decorative stone to give that wall a feature wall. And there's also provisions for, go ahead.
So that means if show something on the screen, we have to get up from our seats and turn around and watch it?
It'll
No,
be in front of you.
You didn't say that yet.
As you'll see in some of the images, each committee member has technology in front of them to show at the same time. There's also provisions, should you desire to install the village logo on either side of the front wall, we can make that happen for you too as well. The new west wall remains largely unchanged. We still have the 2 existing door openings, but in between, that's where we're going to relocate the millwork counter area, which will give storage. We can provide the beverage fridge underneath that counter. The south wall, again, remains largely unchanged in terms of openings. We're just going to update this existing door with a new door with some glass in it, just to give the smallest connection to the outdoors with some glass. But we're not reconfiguring the opening, just the door itself. The east wall, what we're showing is the ability to work with you or a committee at the appropriate time to reflect any historical, either photographs, maps, images that you'd want to reflect in this room. Should it be large format, smaller framed images, we have countless vendors and sources to portray that imagery on the east wall, or I guess any wall in the room, should you desire to do that. I know those are nice features in the room right now. So that's really an update as to the design where it's at right now. We're also here looking for, I guess, sign off to move forward with the design, to complete the design, for full bid documents to be able to put that out for public bidding. That would complete all the design, finish selections, furniture selections suitable for bidding.
What furniture were you going to replace?
Brett's gonna help with that question.
What furniture are you going to?
Currently, the budget is to replace the 9 chairs at the front for the trustees, and then along with a podium. Now, there's a budget in there of $10,500. That's a pretty nice chair for each member. You know, if you are looking to replace potentially the chairs versus reusing these, we can kind of work with that. We're at maybe just under $1,000 per chair for each board member. Again, so there's a budget there we can work with, without having this defined, yet. I think we can work with it depending,
So then we're not gonna have this table at all, is that correct? No.
That's correct. I mean, according to what they're showing.
Okay, and then my other question was on page 2 of 21, you had an 86-inch ultra high definition commercial display TV?
Correct.
2 of those?
Correct, those are budgeted
And
for
you-
that number.
Is that what goes behind?
Correct,
So
yeah.
What about ours that we have already?
You could potentially reuse those, and then that AV budget would be less.
Okay, I mean, is there
The
anything
cost of
wrong,
those.
any reason we can't use these?
Not necessarily, just the opinion of our AV expert. I did ask him before I came here. He thought for the amount for the new displays, it's not a real big deduction, and for what you're getting with that, since that's kind of what the public is viewing, it would be a good investment, but we could certainly reuse those.
Okay.
Our intent is to start with these TVs. If they work out great, we're set. If people are in the room and they're not big enough, we might then have to be flexible, but working with the AV budget, there are gonna be some tweaks